All right. So my husband, he's going to be managing the muting and unmuting of everyone. So if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself, or you can wave wildly and we'll unmute you. How's that sound? So here we go.
Sounds good.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be a part of this Feast for the Soul. And today's ceremony we've done in Sedona a number of times. I've watched other people do it. And this is what the altar, well, this is my altar. Most altars are supposed to be very uniform. And as I was putting this together, I realized that, you know, not all of us are uniform. I mean, that's what religions can be. It's very uniform. Everybody behaves a certain way. But I think as we go deeper into our own spiritual experience, we change the shape of our practice. We determine what's really important to us. So as I was collecting candle holders and candles, you know, everything looks about the same, but they show up differently on this altar. And I think that's how we are. No matter what your religion, your spiritual practice, or the background that you grew up in, I think we all show up slightly differently. So this is my way of doing the opening ceremony. I got an email earlier today from someone who's doing one tonight as well. And they asked me, can I use 13 candles? I said, yes. Can you use 9 candles? Absolutely. Can you use 7 candles? Absolutely. It's the sankalpa, it's the intention with which you're doing this program, this ceremony, whether you're looking to create more peace on this planet or be inclusive, and even finding where you're not inclusive. That's what I do. I find where I'm not inclusive. And that's a big job, because there are little pockets of better than, less than, exclusiveness that I have to deal with too. So I'm very honored to be part of this Feast for the Soul, which we're not calling Winter Feast for the Soul anymore, because hopefully at some point somebody from the Southern Hemisphere is watching this and they're realizing, yes, it is summer here and it's not Winter Feast for the Soul, and now I can join. So this altar has a number of aspects to it. The air, the ether, it's represented by the incense. The fire will be represented by the candles. Earth, it's represented by bell and the crystals that are here, and the flowers. Space, it takes up space. And I have a bowl of water right here, plus there's water in here. So fire, earth, water, air, and space. My first love was Ayurveda. For some of you, you know what that is. It means the science of life and longevity, and it's from ancient India. And they talk about how each one of us is made up of these 5 elements. Whether we're practicing and we love fire, or we practice and we love the space and the ethers, or we practice and we're water babies, it doesn't matter. We all have all these elements. And so they're represented here, as will be the various traditions that we invoke. So this ceremony has been, it comes from the early 20th century in the Sufi tradition. Now, as some of you know, the Sufi tradition is the mystic tradition of Islam. And during the Feast for the Soul, all peaceful religions and spiritual paths are honored. This is our opening ceremony. In the Southern Hemisphere, it is already the 15th. So we're starting today, and we'll also have another one tomorrow for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. Actually, you know, it's not the Southern Hemisphere, it's the farthest east you can go. So humans have been searching for truth throughout history, and this search has been answered through many spiritual traditions. And during the Feast for the Soul opening, we're going to honor the unity of these traditions to start off the 40-day period of commitment to our personal spiritual practice. We are all one in our search for happiness, peace, and truth. So I'd love to, we heard from a few of you on there. I heard from Margaret Joy Weaver and Melinda Braca. And I'd love to hear from anyone else who would like to share. You can unmute yourself. I think you're not muted yet anyway. But if you'd like to wave or Say hello. We'd love to see or hear who's on the call.
Hi, Sarah. My name
Hi.
is Dessa. Your student, Petty Groth, is my teacher, and she introduced me to the feast. This is my first year to feast, and I'm delighted to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dessa. Yes, Petty is very special.
Yes.
Very special. So thank you for joining us. And this, for some of you, this feast has been going on for 11 years. Actually, this is the 11th year. So for some of you, it's very new. For many of you, it's changing its shape and its form, and it's changing in a way that you can watch your response to change. You know, am I happy with the new platform? Can I find the meditations I absolutely love? Well, these are places and ways to explore how your spiritual practice is working, because we've had some challenges as we've been moving into this new platform. And hopefully you'll enjoy one of the 700 meditations that we have on there. And Dessa, you get to pick and choose. You can do one meditation every day for 40 days. You never have to go on our website, and you can meditate on your own in silence for 40 days. You can inspire yourself rather than waiting to be inspired. Find that inspiration like you did, Melinda, as it bubbles up within you. So thank you for joining us, Dessa. And would anyone else like to say hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Laura de la Garza. I'm in Blanco, Texas. This is my first feast. I heard of it a long time ago from David Les Shahabuddin. And I'm looking forward to guided meditations because this is new to me and I needed this as an inspiration.
It's so nice to have it happen right now after the holidays. You know, this is the time. I used to think September was the time people started new things, but, you know, really and truly it's taking on a new practice in January after the holidays or holy days. I hope that we can support you. We have a Facebook support group. We can help you with meditation and how to meet your own mind, and to stick with it even when you feel like you can't do it. Even when you feel like the to-do list is so long, you cannot possibly set that time aside. So we will help you. So stay in touch. And I'm going to be sending out emails every day to those who sign up for that. So is there anyone else who would like to say hello? Thanks, Laura. Anyone else like to share or say hello? Well, I'll share a little bit. My name is Sarah McLean. I was asked to be the Feast for the Soul co-director with Valerie, the founder, and then took over when she decided to retire. She lives in Florida. But this feast, and was the winter feast at the time, was founded based on a Rumi poem. What 40 early mornings, what 9 months does for a growing embryo, 40 early mornings will do for your growing awareness. So if you can possibly practice starting tomorrow, an early morning meditation. You know, they call it the ambrosia hour, that time between 4 and 6 a.m. when there's a stillness of an ether that pervades in that rhythm of time. And it's the traditional spiritual time. Now, of course, you can do it before lunch and before dinner, but the 40 early mornings, there's something about 40 and there's something about early mornings. I lived in a monastery, a Zen Buddhist monastery, for 2 years. And the bell actually would ring very early at 4:20. We would get up and put our black robes on and sit in silence, unmoving, paying attention to our breath. I'd have to say I certainly was craving something special to happen rather than my foot falling asleep or getting bored or falling asleep myself. But what I realized is I moved from the domain of doing to the domain of being. I also lived in a Hindu ashram, and those are early mornings too. And I had the work practice first thing in the morning, and that was my spiritual practice as I listened to chanting from the various swamis and swaminis that began around 4 in the morning. So I love all these traditions. I lived in a transcendental meditation community for a number of years and meditated and practiced and worked with people who also had the same sankalpa, the same desire to wake up. And so I really appreciate the dimension of these various practices, these lineages, these traditions, and they have so many similarities. So let's take a moment now, and I think I'm going to sit, and if you would like to sit for a moment, we can close our eyes. We'll take a few minutes in silence. And as we sit here in silence together, bring to your awareness your aspiration, your desire, your heartfelt longing for the reason why you decided to embark on this feast. What is it you hope to embody, achieve? Whatever that aspiration is, what if you set it to yourself as it's already true, such as I am, whatever your aspiration is, happy, peaceful, still, calm, content, inspired, whatever it may be. And though we may be miles apart, and you might be even watching this on recording, there is this oneness that brings us all together. This oneness of spiritual practice, this oneness of the search for truth. And in that spirit of oneness, if I can find my lighter, oh, there it is. By lighting this candle of oneness, our spiritual journeys are embraced. As each candle is lit, we'll read a prayer or spiritual passage, and then we'll honor that tradition by lighting a candle. This will invoke and honor the spiritual lineages and masters and teachers that have gone before us and who live among us today. So I open this ceremony with lighting the candle of truth and oneness. And as each candle is lit, we'll read a passage. And I'd like to start because as I was sitting in meditation, I heard a chant from the Upanishads. It's the Vedanta or Vedic tradition. And I hope I say it correctly. I'll chant it first. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This prayer is bring us from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge, and from death to immortality. So we'll honor the Vedic tradition by lighting a candle. Actually, I should be lighting it with this, so don't do that at home. Who would like to share a passage that inspires them or one they hear? You can unmute yourself or you can wave and someone will unmute you for you. Melinda, go ahead.
Oh, am I live?
I don't see you. I'm just getting signals from the cameraman. Melinda, would you like to share?
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes.
Well, this is also very universal. It's a chant and a song you probably have heard before. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to where you are, return to what you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
Thank you. And what tradition should we honor with that? Is it a Judaic tradition?
Yes, it's a Judaic tradition. It's a love thy neighbor as thyself, meaning all souls, if you return and do teshuvah, teshuvah is the Hebrew word for it, then you are enabling yourself and others to love one another as we should. And that's the basic premise of the Judaism.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Anyone else who would care to read or share a passage from their tradition or a tradition that inspires you?
Sarah?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So I have been practicing with Oneness University, which is now O&O Academy in India. And there's a Mula mantra, which I really love. And so I'd love to share that. I'm not sure in honor of, I guess in honor of our oneness, but
Well, the Mool mantra, it could be from, let's say it's the Hindu tradition, but it's even before that. I think it's Vedic. Anyway, oneness we shall.
Yeah, it's a Hindu Sanskrit, tradition. So. Om Sachitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha Om Sachitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha Shri Bhagavate Namaha Aho.
Thank you, Margaret. And so we'll light a candle. We'll use that for the Hindu tradition, although I think it's a little precursor to Hinduism. We'll use it for that. We'll honor that tradition and all of the followers and teachers of that tradition. Thank you. I have one from the Christian tradition, and I think this is probably familiar to all of you. The Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, be understood as to understand, be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in dying that we are born to eternal life. It's attributed to Saint Francis of Assisi. So, in honor of the Christian tradition and all of the masters and teachers from that tradition, I light this candle of oneness. Would anyone else care to share?
Sarah, I'm not sure what tradition it would come from, but I am often inspired by a quote from a French philosopher whose name I'll mangle, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. He said, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience."
So in the tradition of all great, I'd say, French philosophers and other mystics, let's light the candle in their name, whether it's Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, all American, French, all philosophers who transcended their religion to find truth. And thank you. That's such an awakening experience. I know we say it sort of glibly now, but it really, when we realize the truth of that, we don't treat anyone as separate.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that cares to share? Barbara, would you like to share?
Yes, I can share. I find that God has caused so many wars, so I've come to call God MOPS, which I take.
Barbara, can you hold on 1 second? I want to mute the background noise so we can hear you a little better. 1 second. Which one is this one? Okay. Okay, here we go. I'd love to hear it. It's good to see your face. I got a chance to see it too.
Okay. I just said that the word God had caused so many wars, so I've chosen to call God MOPS, and I've learned, and this is an acronym because I've come to honor his attributes of mystery, oneness, presence, and spaciousness. And so I've made a prayer based on the one you started with. It says, lead me, mystery, oneness, presence, spaciousness, from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to higher consciousness, from chaos to beauty and mystery, from the individual to oneness, from the many cycles to presence, and from materialism and narrowness to sacred spaciousness. So be it.
That's amazing because that's very similar to the chant I started. Take us from darkness to light, from ignorance to truth, from death to immortality. It's all beautiful. Everything that we've been sharing, it's all has this kernel of truth. And in that name, I would say, what would you say what tradition should we honor? The metaphysical, the tradition of truth, the new age? What would you say, Barbara?
I think just truth and oneness and divinity, immensity. I have another poem from Giuseppe Ungaretti. It's Mi Lumino D'Immenso. The title of the poem is Morning. I am illuminated with, from, by immensity. I do love that.
Well, in the tradition of those who transcend religion, but find the kernels of truth within it, I lit a candle. So thank you. Let's see here. I'm going to share with you the vow I used to share or chant every morning and the Zen Buddhist tradition. And I'll explain what it means afterwards. Sentient beings are numberless. I vow to save them. Desires are inexhaustible. I vow to put an end to them. The dharmas are boundless. I vow to master them. The Buddha way is unsurpassable. I vow to attain it. So we would share that, make those vows to ourselves, and it's almost vowing to do the impossible. It was vowing to attain the Buddha way. It was vowing to save all sentient beings. It was vowing to master all knowledge and to eliminate all desires. What this vow for me symbolized was perseverance and commitment. And in honor of the Buddhist tradition, Tibetan Buddhist, Zen Buddhist, Hinayana, Mahayana Buddhist, I like this candle. Would anyone else like to share? Melinda? Melinda, would you like to share?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to say a little bit something about for peace, maybe a prayer for peace. Although in Hebrew the word Yisrael doesn't just mean Israel, like the country, but it means all people. And so there's a prayer for peace. Oseh shalom b'mrumav, Uyaseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen, which means he who makes peace upon the high heavens makes peace upon the earth and to all people, to all Yisrael. And then we all say together, Amen. We take it as a personal prayer for peace. Just wanted to offer that universal peace prayer.
Amen, amen. in the Judeo-Christian tradition, we have candles that represent that. So thank you, Melinda. That's beautiful. And I didn't realize that when you read "O Israel," that it's regarding peace in general, not a country, not an area, but it's a land of peace, wherever it is.
Yes.
Does anyone have any prayers for the Native American or indigenous traditions? Margaret, would you like to share?
Yeah. Navajo prayer.
Yeah, beautiful.
Navajo prayer for peace. As I walk with beauty. As I walk, the universe is walking with me. In beauty, it walks before me. In beauty, it walks behind me. In beauty, it walks below me. In beauty, it walks above me. Beauty is on every side. As I walk with beauty.
Thank you. And in reverence to all the indigenous cultures, we honor them, we revere them, and we have much to learn from them. The beauty way, you know, the word is in Navajo is hosho, the beauty way. So thank you for bringing that, Margaret. We have one more. Would anyone like to share? I'll share one of the reasons I do what I do. It's a Taoist poem.
So funny.
It is the reason and you wanted peace, I think, Melinda. So in order to have peace in the world, there must be peace between nations. In order to have peace between nations, there must be peace in the cities. In order to have peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. In order to have peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And in order to have peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. This is why I teach meditation. This is why we're doing this feast, is to have peace in the heart so that we can have peace on this planet. And for me, the only way to achieve it is through spiritual practice. So in the tradition of Taoism and all that is born from that, I honor that and all of the followers and philosophers. So what we'll do next is we shall sit in silence together. I'm going to come over and mute everyone just in case, because sometimes there are dogs in here. Yeah. And then we can sit comfortably with our eyes closed and we'll meditate. Let's see. I think we'll meditate for about 15 minutes or so. If you can't join us for the entire time, thank you for joining us up until this point. So let's close our eyes. Again, bringing your attention to the reason you're here, the reason you're putting spiritual practice first. I'll give you a little guidance because I realize there's some of you who've never meditated before. And as I do that, I will guide us into the silence. So begin now by welcoming everything you hear. no matter what your practice, it's important to welcome everything. Expect nothing. Let go of any expectations you might have. What you might notice as your eyes are closed is you become much more attuned to how you're actually feeling, physically, emotionally. So take a moment to adjust your posture, to acknowledge how you're feeling emotionally, what's up for you right now. Softening your eyes, your face. And letting your shoulders drop as you relax your belly. And feel the support of all the sages and saints that have come before you, that walk this path before you, that left little clues along the way. If you don't have a spiritual practice or meditation practice at this point, you can choose something to focus on, whether it be your breath, a silent mantra or prayer, or you can imagine a color or a light in your interior. Choose something that's pleasing to you. And if the mind drifts away, come on back here, right back to that focus. The deepening of your spiritual practice is a training. The training of going deeper, of persevering, of having faith, and letting go of any expectations as to when and what will happen. Well, that was moving. I wanted to share one more passage. It's from the Sikh tradition. The Lord put his light in this body, and so it came into the world. Yes, it came into the world when the Lord illuminated the mind with his light. The Lord himself is the Father and the Mother, who created creatures so that they might see the world. When one realized the reality, by the grace of the Guru, one comes to know that this world is a mere show. Thus the Lord created the universe, putting his light into every being. So I wish you a beautiful, transformative feast for your soul. And putting yourself first, Rabbi Melinda said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And by participating and observing this feast and deepening your spiritual practice, this deep practice is a great way to love yourself. So love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And take this opportunity to tap into the support that's available to you. And I am excited to be serving you in this way. So I look forward to sending you an email every day. And I'd love to hear how it's going for you. I know some of you are new to this practice, new to deep practice, but I know you can do it. I know you can do it. So I want to leave you with a wish, a prayer, a blessing. You can dedicate, in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, they often dedicate the merits of their practice to someone or something, whether it be peace on this planet or peace in your own heart. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be happy and free. So thank you all for joining us. I've enjoyed my time with you. If you'd like to share, feel free. I'm going to come on over and take control of the pad over there because Marty's doing it now. I'd love to hear from anyone who'd care to share, and if this is your last moment, we'll see you at the end of the feast. Anyone care to share?
I would like to say I tried to log in using my phone, but it did not seem to connect, or I could see you talking, Sarah, but I couldn't hear anything you were saying. So I don't know where to go for help with that, because I think this is my desktop computer, and I may be using this for the entire feast, but I know in February I'm going to be traveling, so I think it would be best if I could find a way to log on using my phone.
Okay, Joanne. So maybe we can address that after we get a little feedback from everyone about the ceremony, but I'd love to help you figure it out. I'm not a techie, but we shall see what happens next.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else care to share?
I would just like to say thank you to the ones who came before us and teaching and learning meditation so that we can be more present with our own.
Thank you, Melinda. Yeah, I really felt it. I really felt like we were really invoking them. It was very moving for me. Very moving. I cried the entire meditation, which is very rare. I've been meditating 30 years. That doesn't happen that often.
That's beautiful, and the layers of the heart are being expressed through tears, and I would invite everyone to allow that to happen should you feel anything bubbling up within, because what will happen is you will have really a divine feast. It's so good to release that, to release whatever it is that you're feeling so that you can be more fully expressed in your life.
Thank you, Melinda. And thank you for your participation, you, Margaret, and Barbara. I'm not sure who else did, but I appreciate whoever did. I only see phone numbers down there. Hi, Sylvie. I see you're muted, but I see your face.
Mm-hmm.
Would anyone else care to share before we say goodbye? Yes, Barbara.
Sarah, just thank you for doing this. I think it is so badly needed in the world that we rise above our own little traditions and realize that we are one, and that we need to act as one and forget the idea that I'm right and you're wrong in my religion. So I'm just so honored that to be a part of this and to be part of oneness.
Thank you. Yes, that is a spiritual practice. Just like when people don't agree with you, just like when your phone won't let you listen to people talking on a teleconference, just like when someone's driving slow in front of you, just like when life doesn't go your way, that is when the pedal comes to the metal. That is when we need to, at least for me, embody my spiritual practice. And that's when it happens. It's easy when everything's going well. It's difficult in the face of conflict. So thank you all for joining us.
Thanks.
Anyone else would like to say goodbye?
You okay?
I'm good. I think somebody's iPad fell.
Get up slowly from your meditations.
Yeah.
Yes, it's always important that time, just like in a yoga practice, that time, I call it the integration period. You can call it grace period. But that time when you come out of meditation, you're not quite there yet. And embodying that, making that your new normal of being in this world, but not really of it. That's really it, isn't it? That's what people describe as the path to enlightenment. So thank you all. That altar is so pretty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all for joining me, and I'm going to be doing it again tomorrow, so if you'd like to come back, and we'll do it again. I think it's at, I don't even know, but you can check the Facebook page, or you can check the website under Get Support, and then we'll have one in person for those of you living in Sedona tomorrow at the McLean Meditation Institute, and it will be at 6:30. So I'll have it down pat after my third one. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll be feasting. Happy feasting.
Thank you.
Happy feasting.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.